Good. Hello, everybody. This is the Friday support call. That means it's Friday. I'm Stephen Carlson. Our host is Yvonne Spence. Yvonne, we were having a little conversation. You've been working on the topic of compassion. Is that right? Did you want to, where were you going
Well,
with these
specifically
ideas?
self-compassion. I'm actually working on a book about self-compassion. I did a thing about a year and a half ago, a kind of challenge thing, and at some point I'm going to develop that more. But I'm also planning to do a workshop on self-compassion fairly soon, and then how it fits into the Sedona Method, integrates into that, because to me it's sort of, yes, there is no self, but on the other hand, that's not how we feel most of the time, and it's so easy to be judgmental and attacking of the self that we perceive here. And so therefore it's just so helpful to recognize that and to see when we're doing it, and to be able to bring compassion even to that, and even to the parts of us that do judge and attack ourselves, which might seem counterintuitive, but it definitely helps.
Yes, it helps to bring down the resistance in my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it relaxes that sense of self. It relaxes that mechanism.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, Yvonne, it's your call. I pass it over to you. I see you two hands up. I saw Sanjana's hand was first.
Yeah. Okay. So, Sanjana, how can I help?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you good, yes. What would you like some support with?
Uh, I need assistance with getting clarity about what I want to do in life right now. What is my uh, heart's deepest desire, or what I want?
Okay, so you want to get clarity in what you want out of life. That means you feel like you're not clear at the moment in what you want out of life.
Yes,
Okay, so in my experience, sometimes when we think that, it's not actually true. So I'm just going to ask you, is it really true that you don't know what you want out of life?
I may know, but maybe don't want to accept.
Okay, so that's a clue. If you feel like you don't know, you might know, but you don't want to accept it, that the mind is pushing you in different directions and telling you that maybe you have to do something that you don't feel is right. But I kind of, again, talking about the self-compassion thing, would say that when we notice that kind of feeling, it's a fairly strong clue that we're being hard on ourselves somewhere, that we're thinking that we're not good enough or something like that. So is there any of that going on?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So can you just bring a little bit of love to that part of you that thinks you're not good enough and that you should know what you want and all those things? And if the answer's no, that's fine too.
No, yes.
You can't bring any love to it, or you can?
I can't.
You can't. That's okay. So could you feel how do you feel about it?
Hurt.
Sorry?
Feeling hurt.
Hurt. Okay. So can you let yourself feel that hurt right now in this moment? And everybody else can release along too, because we all have things we felt hurt about sometimes. So can you allow yourself to feel that hurt just as much as it's there in this moment?
Yes.
And then could you have some compassion for yourself because you're feeling that hurt, that pain?
Yes.
Yes. And would it be okay to let that hurt begin to dissolve? To let it go?
No.
No. So would you rather hold on to it?
No.
No. So you find it hard to let it go, or you don't want to let it go, but you also don't want to hold on. So can you let yourself resist that feeling of hurt just as much as you're resisting it?
Yes.
And then would it be okay to just allow it to release just a little bit? Maybe even just 10%?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And could you just welcome it just as best you can in this moment? Remember, you're just doing that as best you can. So if there's still a no to it, that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And would you be willing to let go of 10% of it, or maybe even 15% of that hurt?
Yes.
Yeah, good. And would you be willing to let go of any more?
Yes.
Good. So how much would it be okay to let go of that hurt?
80%.
50%. Okay, so can you just open and just allow that 50% to dissolve?
Yes.
Good. And what's here now? What are you feeling in this moment?
The feeling of sadness are still there,
Okay,
and a story.
a story. Uh-huh.
I need
Would
to
you,
figure out. I need to do something. Blah, blah.
you need to figure out what to do. Yeah.
Yes.
So can you welcome that feeling of sadness? Can you just let that be here for a moment? And can you also welcome that feeling that you need to know what to do? Can you notice what that feels like in your body? That sense of I need to know what to do. Can you notice the sensations in your body that come with that?
Yes.
Yeah. And would you rather hold on to those sensations, or would it be okay to let them go?
Let it go.
Good. So can you just open and just allow that to release as best you can?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's here now? How's that feeling now?
It's better.
Good. So is there any more feeling of wanting to figure out what to do?
Yeah, feeling like helpless.
Okay, so that's another kind of feeling that's coming up that was underneath the feeling of want to know what to do, that sense of helpless. So can you again just notice what that feels like in your body to feel helpless?
Yes.
And could you allow that to release just as best you can? The feelings, the sensations.
Yes.
Yeah. And how's that feeling now?
Lighter.
Good, good, good. I find it very helpful sometimes just to work with the sensations that you're actually experiencing, because that kind of cuts through the story and you just feel what's there. Because the whole thing of I need to know my life's purpose is a bit of a story, and it can cause a lot of stress in itself and lead us to go off into all sorts of directions that we think we should be doing. And when we actually notice what is driving us, then that can begin to release and we just feel so much better and more able to then do whatever we want to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because when we're coming from it from the sense of I need to fix myself, I need to know what to do, that generates an awful lot of stress. Can you feel
Yes.
that? The sense of I need to fix myself, I need to work out what to do, I need to get this right, all those kinds of thoughts that we have.
Yes.
Can you just so yeah. So can you just welcome that energy? Just to let it be here for a moment and just notice it, actually, not even having to welcome it, but just notice what it feels like.
Okay.
Yeah. And would it be okay to let that go?
Yes.
And then I'm going to invite you to notice what it would feel like if you actually looked at yourself and your life from the energy of love, from everything's okay and I'm okay as I am.
Okay.
Can you get a sense of that, even if it's not very strong?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So can you just allow that to be there? Again, just noticing it is enough. Just noticing how it feels. How's that feeling now?
Safe.
Sorry?
Safe.
Safe. Did you say safe?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you think about your life's purpose from that position, or I can't remember if that was exactly what you said, your heart's deepest desire, how's that feeling now?
The mind is less noisy, but I have no answer for it.
That's good. No answer is great. Because the mind has quietened down. Does that feel complete, or is there anything else you'd like, or would you like to work a bit more on this? Because I'm quite happy to go a wee bit more with it if it doesn't feel like it's quite sinking in yet.
Yes.
Yes, you'd like to.
The mind is blank.
Mind is blank. Okay, good. Can you just love that mind for its blankness?
Yes.
Good. Okay, does that feel complete now?
Yes.
Yeah, and feel free to raise your hand again if you feel like you still want to work on it later in the call. But we'll move on for now.
Okay. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Sharon?
Hi, Yvonne. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I'd like some help, please. I feel I'm very harsh on myself.
Uh-huh.
And I notice when people praise me, I can't really take that in. I can't really accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And what feels to be a pattern for me throughout my life is around rejection and not being treated very well. And it seems to play out in my family as well. And I just feel like sometimes I'm invisible here in the family and I don't have a place. And that is actually physically my situation as well. I don't have anywhere fixed to live, and that's been ongoing for a long time. So I think I have a lot of problems in my life that have been ongoing. And I feel a lot of it is just down to how I feel about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So just some releasing around that, please. I'm not really feeling in a good space right now. I'm physically not feeling very well, and I haven't
Oh, I'm
done for a
sorry to hear that.
yeah, it's just ongoing. I think it's just pollen at the moment. It seems to be affecting me more than usual, but I know that's just a story. I think it's just
Well,
there's a
it's
lot
how
of
you're feeling in the moment. Watch the it's
yeah,
just a story, because sometimes we can use that it's just a story to actually push down our feelings. Can you see that?
yeah,
Yeah, and that doesn't really help. It just pushes down our feelings. It's just a way of kind of squashing what we're actually going through rather than actually releasing it.
You mean like bypassing? Is that what you're referring
Yeah,
to?
yeah,
About-
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes noticing it's just a story can be really helpful, but when we're just kind of going, oh, I'm feeling all of this stuff, but it's just a story, then
Yeah.
that can keep us actually stuck rather than help.
Yeah,
So,
there is a lot of stress going on within the family. There's a situation that's very, upsetting for all of us.
mhm.
It's just, and since that's been ongoing, I haven't been physically well really at all. But I think it's just the effect of the stress of it all, I suppose. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so there's a lot going on for you. There's a lot of
yeah,
feelings of discomfort, both physically and emotionally. And there's
yeah,
this sense of this being a pattern that's been going on for a long time in your life.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
you also mentioned right at the very start being quite harsh on yourself.
yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
am.
So,
And I put a lot of pressure on myself as well. Yeah.
yeah, so let's start there. Can you notice what that feels like to be harsh on yourself? And again, for everyone else, just release along with this. I'm not actually going to do a group release as such at the moment, but just notice that whenever I'm releasing, working with someone, I'm working with all of us really, because we all have these patterns in us at times. So can
Yeah.
you just notice what it feels like to be harsh on yourself?
I feel a mix of anger and angry with myself, and also deep sadness that I feel a little bit stuck in, I suppose, the sadness.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I'm going to go back to what I mentioned earlier about that sense of wanting to fix yourself,
Yeah.
which is something that so often we have. So this feeling of wanting to fix yourself, when we get caught up in that, it just kind of sends us going round and round and round. Well, not in circles like that, but more like that. Do you get what I'm saying
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It keeps you
Yes.
stuck, doesn't it, in the loop, so to speak.
Absolutely. That's totally what it does. And
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think there's like two ways of being, and one is getting caught in the circle of trying to fix ourselves, and then there's the actually just looking at ourselves with compassion and love. And when we do that, everything suddenly becomes more bearable.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
the situation might not change at all, but when we're trying to force ourselves to find a solution and work out what to do and change ourselves, and that we're not good enough, it just becomes really, really stressful. And we can have all the awareness of this is happening because of that and because of I'm a pattern and whatever. But if we are not bringing compassion to that, it doesn't help us at all.
No. Yeah.
Whereas the moment we bring compassion to it, a bit of love, then everything just shifts. So
Yeah.
does that make
It
sense?
probably loosens it a bit, I imagine, as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because I mean, I've been doing the Sedona now. I mean, I've been on the non-duality journey for 20 plus years, but the Sedona Method is like 2 years, and I feel that because I've struggled with a lot of anxiety and depression as well. And since doing the Sedona, I have noticed shifts in being a bit more compassionate myself towards
Yes.
myself, and also the anxiety has really shifted.
Oh, that's
leaps and bounds. So that's so positive in that respect. But yeah, and I
That's
can see where it loosens a little bit. So what you're saying
good.
resonates a bit, yeah. So
Good,
thanks.
good. I'm glad it does. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Sedona Method does teach us to be kinder to ourselves. I think it's one of the main
Yeah.
things. It's one of the main things I've got out of it, definitely. So that feeling of being harsh on yourself, can you just notice again what that feels like? You mentioned anger and sadness. And can you even notice the sensations in the body that come with it?
It's very much in my throat and it feels like my voice goes.
Yeah. And would it be okay to let that go?
Well, I'd like to, but I've realised there was just a little bit of a holding on to it then as well. It's
Yes.
like, yeah.
Sometimes we hold on, and I don't know, this is coming into my head, so it may be the case for you. Sometimes we hold on because we think that either we don't deserve to let go, or else that if we do, somebody else is somehow going to suffer if we're like kind to ourselves. We think that it's not going to be good for other people. But it's never bad for someone else for us to be kind to ourselves. Never. It's not about placing yourself above anybody else, because the more you're compassionate with yourself, the easier it is to be with other people too. So I don't know if that's relevant or not, but it was just coming into my head, so I thought I'd say it.
It feels like the holding on is like I'm trying to protect myself, which I know is a false sense of protection, but it feels like there's a
Okay,
safety in
but
that.
that's what it feels like, that you're trying to protect yourself. So can you give yourself some compassion, maybe even thank that part of your mind for trying to protect yourself? Because it's doing the best it can in the moment. With it wouldn't be holding on if it didn't think it was in your best interests.
Yes, I can, yeah.
Good. How does that feel now?
Oh, it
Just
just feels
allow
like,
the feelings. Sorry?
yeah, just felt a little bit like grief because this has
Yes.
been with me a long time.
Yeah. Okay. And if there's any more grief coming up, can you just give yourself some more love for feeling that way?
Yes, I can.
Good. And how's that feeling now?
What I'm noticing now is there's like this is something I've been struggling with for a while. It's like a restriction of me breathing. It's like a heaviness at the back of my throat.
Okay. So could you just feel into that a little bit more and just notice if there's any thoughts and feelings coming up with it? Any thought about what it might mean?
It just feels very stuck energy.
Okay.
It feels, yeah, it feels like it's hard
Yes.
to move.
So
Yeah.
it feels like it's stuck, but that doesn't mean to
Yeah.
say that it is stuck. So can
Yeah.
you allow it to feel as stuck as it is? Does. Not as stuck as it is, but as stuck as it feels. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to do this bit as a group release, I think, just to take a wee bit of pressure off you for a moment, because I think we all have feelings sometimes that we feel stuck with.
Okay.
So everyone can just think of, or just notice any feeling that they feel a little bit stuck with. And can you just allow yourself to notice what that feels like? The sense that this feeling is stuck, or this thought, or this pattern, or whatever it is stuck there. Can you just allow it to feel as stuck as it does? And then could you open to the possibility that there might be nothing you need to do and nowhere you need to go for it to release, that it can release all by itself?
Well, there's relief in that.
Yes.
Oh.
And could you just welcome any remaining sense that it's stuck? And then could you just open to that possibility that there's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go to allow it to release, that it will just release all by itself, just by allowing yourself to just open and treat yourself with kindness.
There's actually, at first there was an openness to that, and then it was like there was a fear.
Yeah, that's not surprising because it's something
Oh,
that's
is it?
unfamiliar. So can you
Oh, right.
welcome that fear as well? Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure that will be helpful for other people as well. You welcome the fear of letting go, of opening and allowing the stuckness to be gone. Can you welcome any wanting to hold on to what feels familiar?
Yeah, that's seems key. Yeah.
Yeah. And then could you just open to the possibility that the unfamiliar might be just as good or even better? In fact, it is better than this stuck feeling. How's that now?
There's a bit of fear now.
Sorry?
There's a bit of fear.
Okay, so can you welcome that fear? It's just the next layer. That fear of change. That fear of having what you want, maybe even.
Yeah, there's a fear and there's a holding on because of the fear I feel.
Yeah, So can you just allow that holding on and that fear to be okay here? Can it be okay that it's here in this moment? And again, what if there's nothing you need to do and nowhere you need to go just to allow that to release?
Yeah, that feels more relief and just let me know, Yvonne, that I don't need it's not me that has to do anything. I think that's really
No.
Thank you.
Just recognizing that it's there and just welcoming it and allowing it to be there, it will just release by itself.
Yeah. Oh. And it was like the fear felt so serious. It was like it's so, and that feels like with that being feeling serious, it had like a bit of a grip on me.
Yes.
Yeah. Just
And we
letting
tell
go.
ourselves, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Just going to say, letting go with that. It's not that serious. There was a little bit of loosening in that. But it felt, it feels like that's really a thing that's been with me for a while as well, thinking things are so serious. Yeah. Well, you know, if things get like this stuck energy, it feels like, oh, that's really serious. It's like I've really got to sort it out, sort of thing. Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah.
But even as you noticed yourself, the more that we get caught in that type of thinking, the more stuck it gets, or it feels.
Yeah.
But it's never really stuck. Yeah.
No.
Good.
No. Yeah. Oh.
Does that feel like an okay place to pause?
It does for now, Yvonne. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Great.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful. And again, if you feel like you need to put your hand up again, then do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks. Can I just ask before I go, where are you based?
I'm based in the UK in Edinburgh.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say because I'm Liverpool, just outside Liverpool. I just thought you had a Scottish accent, so I was just checking. So
yeah,
right,
I do.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm definitely in the UK as well.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. Great.
Right.
Ronnie?
Hi, hello. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I like to gain some. I like to begin with the gain and then ask you
Oh,
to
wonderful. Let's share
get
the
some
game.
reviews.
Let's hear the game.
Okay. The gain is that at the 12th of June, I had an accident, and with that accident, yeah, of course, I needed to add two ribs were broken, and I had some little gap in my milt. So instead of what I do normally, I'm thinking to make a solution. So what happened is that I needed all my energy. I couldn't think to resolve the problems that I was having in my body, so that my body just could resolve the problems. And I needed every energy that I needed, so I didn't think. So what happened? I got intuitions, and they were really good. So for me, that was a gateway to
Yeah.
understand. Okay, that's the way. Someone how you can also do it. So the last weeks, I was just releasing, and somehow I just get it. So if I'm just going with the flow, although before I would think that's good, I can just get it. And I was always a manager, so some things that I didn't like, I needed to change.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't thought that was a lesson that I could learn. What's life giving me with something that maybe I don't like in the beginning, but what is it? So now I changed that by just looking at it. What is it? And what's one's life or God, how you ever want to say,
Mm-hmm.
let you experience so that you can go further in life and then you don't reject it. So it will not come back to you, but you can really get a great experience in that.
Yeah, that sounds really
So
good.
yeah, it's really great. So it's really great. So that just happens,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I see just um, changes there that if I don't feel that I have to take the solution now, then just let it till some intuition comes, and then just do it, so that
Mm-hmm.
you don't that I don't have to stress about things, because I think you also see that some others that if you look at awareness, then or you look at what we are, love, awareness, then there will always be a solution,
Yes.
whatever ever happened. So for me, that's really a big gain. I'm still busy with it, and I'm also human, so sometimes I want to change it, but then I think, oh no, it doesn't need to be some. What's some is the gain that I'm getting out of it? But it's really great. It was really great. And I
It
want to
is.
thank you and all the people that are giving all these releases and give all their work and all their time. Someone is in this. Yeah, it's really great. Really great. It's really something that.
That is a wonderful gain, yes. Because I mean, what you're saying is really what I've been pointing to in the last two callers. Just that when we're in that, when we're coming at life from that kind of perspective, then things just are so much easier. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the thing is that I also see some of this that my body is still recovering.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also okay. But I also know that I will have some. I know some of this that Sedona doesn't help some of this with recovering, not some of this with pains that I have. But I think some of this that I also have a lot of thoughts about me recovering, and that I don't have the last 3 days, the energy that I would have. So it would be nice, Summerus, to have some release on that if that's possible for you.
Yes. I think that's where the Sedona method definitely can help, because we can release, and it might help the physical symptoms or it might not, but it definitely can help with all that thinking that comes around it. So yeah. Would you like me to work directly with you or to do a group release? Because I think this could go either way.
I was thinking about directly working with me, but
Yep, that's fine. I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So can you, what is your feeling just now when you're thinking about your body and the state of it in the moment?
To be honest, sometimes I would like to be working faster so that I have the energy that I had before. And
so
I like to change some things. Yeah.
So you'd like to change something. Okay, so can you welcome that sense of wanting to change it? Can you notice what that feels like in the body? To want it to be different?
Yeah, I can feel
it. And how is it working for getting it to change?
It's not working.
No. I thought it might not be, oddly enough. So would it be okay to let that pass, that wanting it to change, that whole energy of wanting it to be different?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. And could you give your body some love for just exactly being the way that it is in this moment?
I can do that also.
Good. And is there any remaining wanting it to be different, wanting it to change?
Yeah, there's still something. Yeah.
Okay, so can you just again
and also a little bit sorry, I also wanted to
go
say
ahead,
it's
a little bit
angry sometimes, or that I'm falling back a little bit and things like that. So
angry at the body or at the mind or both?
At the body, that it's falling back a little bit, because it's just a falling back a little bit, one step back. So I just like to take steps
so
ahead, not back.
Can you just allow that anger to be here?
Yes.
And again, can you notice the energy that's there with it, what it feels like, that anger?
Yeah, I can feel it because I have it.
Yeah. And again, is that helping the body to heal, or?
Not at all.
No. Okay. So would it be okay to let it pass, to let it go?
Yes.
And could you give the body some love for how far it's come already, for how much it has healed, for the ups and downs it's having in its healing?
Yes, I can.
Good. And is there any remaining sense of anger at it?
Yeah, there's still a little bit.
Okay, so can you just fully allow that anger to be here? Just welcome it or notice it.
Yeah, I can.
And if that wasn't here, what would you have? What feeling would be here?
Love.
Yeah. So can you just allow love to be here as best you can?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, good. And can you allow anger as much as it's here?
What I also have to notice is that because I'm having less energy, how do you call it? It's that I don't know how to say it in English.
Tired?
I don't know how to say it in English. So because I'm having less energy, so then how do you say it?
Maybe tired? You're feeling tired? No?
Yeah, a little bit tired and a little bit some pressure in my head. And doesn't feel right. That's the thing also.
Okay. So and first of all, you have had it medically checked and everything to make sure that there's nothing medical going on.
Yes, I did. It's more similar that the body is just recovering, and it just
Uh-huh.
does what it does, but I don't like it. That's the thing.
Okay, okay. So can you welcome that sense of I don't like it? That resistance to the speed of its recovery. Can you see that that's resistance, that I don't like it?
Yes, I can feel that also.
Yeah. And would it be okay
That's
to
more the
let that
pressure.
resistance dissolve?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And could you just allow the love that we noticed earlier, that love that you've been talking about all along as well? Could you just allow that to be here?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And is there any remaining resistance?
The pressure in my head is going. There's still a little bit
Okay, so
pressure
could
in
you
my
welcome
breast.
that feeling or allow or just notice that feeling of pressure and resistance?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And is there any sense of I should be able to get rid of this or I shouldn't have this or anything like that there at all?
Yes, yeah, also.
Yeah, so can you welcome that too? The sense that it's personal, how much it feels like it's about you.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. And then are you that feeling or are you aware of it?
It's good that you mention it. I'm aware of it.
Yeah. So
It
if it
felt
wasn't
like at
here, would you
times.
still exist?
Yes, I will.
Yeah. So is it okay to let that feeling of pressure go?
It is.
Yeah. And what's here when it dissolves?
Love, oneness, and
Mm-hmm.
I was also hearing that some of this yesterday. I I just feel some of this that the solution to all the problems in the world, all the problems that we have, is just by living like life comes, and then the intuitions and the things that you will get. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
beyond image. So
Mm-hmm.
that's also what I'm getting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then every now and again, our little minds buzz up and go, no, 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 no. We have to do everything.
Yes.
We have to fix it. And that's just that sense of separation, the sense that it's personal.
Yes.
So could you even just give that some love, that feeling that it's me, it's separate, it's personal?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Because it was also helping me before. Like it's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does that feel now?
Yeah, really good. Thank you, Simonis. It's really
Good. Thank you.
thank you for hearing it, and have
You're
a good
welcome.
day.
Thank you. And you too. Ryan?
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks. I want to say thank you for the different perspectives and coming from a place of love. That was really helpful.
Okay, thank you.
I was just wondering if you could help me with. I've been working with like the I'm trying to remember that process with on like relationships with letting go of wanting the wants surrounding the cleanup procedure. I've been
All
doing
right.
that with,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I feel like I'm a little bit stuck in that there's still like expectations around my relationships with like my partner or my son or family, and
Mm-hmm.
expectations that something's going to go wrong or that I'm doing something wrong in the
Okay.
relationship. And so just
Mm-hmm.
wondering if you
And
could help me with that.
yeah, so how's that expectation been helping? How's it been playing out? When you have that, does it help to make things different or does it make it even harder to make changes?
I guess I've
When
been
you
telling
think,
myself that it's like keeping me focused on trying to do better, but I just feel mostly like on edge and
yeah,
stressed.
yeah, because like I was saying earlier, when we get into the, I need to fix me, I need to be different, I need to be better, even just saying those words, you can feel the kind of stress building, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel it.
Yeah. So whenever we think that we're not good enough and we should be different than we are, when we're coming from that fixing me perspective, which most of us are doing a lot of the time, that's saying we're not good enough as we are, that we need to change. And yet it feels almost impossible to make those changes because of that pressure that we're putting on ourselves. So, yeah. Now, what if
I
it's
feel like I'm putting pressure on myself a lot.
What if it's far easier than that? What if
That'd be amazing.
yeah. What if actually you're okay as you are?
I do feel a sense of that. And I
Yeah.
guess I feel like a little bit like I feel more okay with me than other people feel about me.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So there's
So,
that some wanting approval there.
okay. So can you welcome that feeling of wanting approval? Can you let that be here?
Yes.
Yeah. And can you welcome any expecting disapproval?
Yes.
Expecting other people to think you're not okay, which I think is more or less what you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you notice the images that come up with that and the thoughts and the sensations when you expect disapproval?
Yeah. Feels overwhelmed.
Yeah. And could you open and just allow that to release, even just a little bit?
Yes.
Just that expectation, yeah, and the images. And then could you just open and just allow love just to be here?
Yes.
Yeah. And is there any more expecting disapproval?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so could you just allow that to be here?
Yes.
And then could you allow that to release?
Yes.
And then could you just open to the love that is already here?
Yes.
And is there any sense of disapproving of others?
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you welcome that as well?
Yes.
And sometimes we disapprove of ourselves for disapproving of others. So if there's any of that there, could you welcome that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do. I do
Yeah.
feel that.
I shouldn't be disapproving of people. I use the Sedona Method, so I should love everybody all the time.
Yeah. I do feel
Yeah.
that.
So can you just welcome that pressure? That whole thought of that.
Yes.
Yeah. And would it be okay to let that pass through? That expectation that we put on ourselves to be loving and kind every single moment.
Yes.
Yeah. And could you even welcome the images that come with that of what you think it should look like and how it should be?
Yes.
And can you welcome any sense that it's personal, any feeling that you're doing it?
Yes.
Yeah. And do you do it, or does it just happen? Is it just what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would it be okay to let yourself off the hook when disapproving thoughts appear in your mind?
Yes.
Yeah. And could you even give yourself some love for feeling that way sometimes?
That's tough.
Okay, well, just as best you can. So there's still some disapproving of yourself there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you ever managed to force yourself to love somebody by disapproving of yourself?
No,
No.
not at all.
So it's maybe not the most effective strategy, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not.
So would it be okay just to give yourself a little bit of compassion for those times that these thoughts come into your mind?
Yes.
And again, just notice, are you actually creating those thoughts? Is it personal or do they just appear?
They just appear.
Yeah. So what if you let yourself off the hook for having those thoughts occasionally?
Yes. I could do that.
Yeah. And could you allow yourself to notice the love that you have for others, for your family, for your son, for whoever?
Yes.
Yeah. And could you just fully open to that love?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And how's that now?
Feel guilt, but I feel like it comes with the love.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guilt. Did you say guilt?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so have you ever heard Hale say how guilt is an IOU for punishment?
Yes. That's exactly how it feels. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like I'm planning on punishing
Yeah.
myself at some point.
Okay. So could you welcome that planning to punish yourself?
Yes.
And then would you let that go?
Yes.
And could you decide you've been punished enough?
Yes.
And how's that?
I feel like it felt a little like I said yes, but I felt a little bit like I was lying to myself.
Okay, so can you welcome that urge to go on punishing yourself? That feeling of
Yes.
wanting to go on punishing, yeah. And can you notice the quality that it has, the feeling of it?
Yeah.
And then would it be
Tight
okay to
grip.
sorry?
Like a tight grip on myself.
Yeah. So could you just allow that to loosen?
Yes.
And can you just allow it to loosen some more?
Yes.
And then could you allow yourself to just open to the love that is here in this moment, that's always here? And that includes the person called Ryan as well as everyone else.
Yes.
How's that feeling now?
Feels sorry. It feels like definitely feels like loosened and I feel like apathy or grief. You know, like
Okay, that's not surprising because that when we begin to sort of allow up the feelings of and see through, I think, the guilt and the attacking ourselves, there can be some grief that comes up. But what if it's actually compassion? Because sometimes we mistake the two.
yeah,
What if you're
it
actually
does
having
feel a little bit like I'm feeling compassionate, but
compassion for
holding it
yourself?
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all you've been through. Can you just allow that then?
Yeah. It's stuff I'm trying, like I feel the emotion coming up and I'm like resisting it because it.
Okay, so can you just allow that resistance? It's just a way of trying to protect yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how effective has it been at feeling like helping you to feel protected?
Not very.
No. Okay. So could you open to maybe allowing that to release?
Yes.
Yeah. And could you allow yourself just in this moment to just notice the safety that is here right now in this moment?
Yes.
And then could you welcome any feeling of needing to protect yourself?
Yes.
And then could you also welcome the safety that is here in this moment?
Yes.
And could you again welcome that sense of wanting to protect yourself?
Yes.
And then could you welcome the love and the safety that is here now?
Yes.
And could you just allow any remaining sense of needing to protect yourself to just be held by that love, the same way that you would hold a small child, that a parent would hold a small child?
Yes.
How's that?
Feels like love, more like love.
Good. Does that feel complete now?
Yes. Thank you.
Good. Good. And if you notice the guilt coming up again, you can just do the same kind of thing, because just because we worked on it just now, it doesn't mean that it'll become necessarily not come up again. It may, and if it does, then you can just notice that wanting to judge and punish yourself and just let that release, and just notice the love that's always there too.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much. And Marie-Françoise.
Hi,
Good.
Yvonne. How are you?
Hi, good to hear you.
You
How are
too.
you?
That's a loaded question. Trying to be okay.
Okay. Could you let go of the trying?
Yes.
Good. And could you just give yourself some love for just all that trying that you've been doing?
Mm.
Or some compassion. Sometimes love can feel a bit hard, I know. Yeah.
No, but that was exactly what I was gonna talk about. Like,
About what?
trying to like forgive myself, love myself, and I've been reading that book. What is it? Something about love something and then have it your way. Oh heck, I can't
Oh,
remember
right.
the name of
Okay.
it now.
I've not read that one. Okay.
Anyway, you know, I'm I'm getting through it. Love yourself and let the other person have it your way.
Oh, I've heard of the book. Yeah, I've not read it, but I know. Yeah.
Right. Yes. And it talks a lot about, just dropping your non-loving feelings. And I'm facing something right now. And I think part of it is the fact that it's just such a habit. It's just such a,
Mm-hmm.
and
It is a habit, and it can be
automatic.
challenging.
Yeah. And now I feel pressured to have accomplished it, because now I feel like I never could do it. So now something really bad has happened or is going to happen because I wasn't able to accomplish that.
Okay.
I know I'm being vague. I'm sorry, but I just don't want to
No,
say.
that's okay. You don't need to share everything. But there's a fear that something bad is going to happen because you haven't accomplished being loving with yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And I haven't been able, like, I guess, to forgive myself, and I haven't been able to love myself enough for something that I would consider
That's a
bad.
lot of pressure to be putting on yourself, that you
Yeah,
have
you
to
would
be
say
able
that.
to, yeah.
But then that's
to
how
love.
when you read the book, it's just kind of like, oh, I think it's true, and but I don't know how to like turn it around. It's just,
Well,
and it feels, oh boy.
yeah. I mean, what if you're already doing what you need to be doing? I think you've made a lot of changes in the last few months, haven't you? There's a lot of shifts.
Yeah.
So can you see that there's still a bit of that I need to fix myself there that's been the theme of this call running through it?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's also figuratively and literally, yeah, wanting to fix
Yeah.
myself. Yeah.
So can you notice what that feeling of I want to fix myself feels like, or I need to fix myself? Just notice it in your body even.
Yeah, it feels kind of heavy and just black, like it's impossible.
And can you notice the thoughts that come when you do that as well?
Well,
even the quality of the thoughts. You don't need to notice the specific thoughts, but just notice the quality of them when they come, when you think I need to fix myself.
the quality of them, like, what do you mean?
Just the kind of energy that they have, the sort of sense of them, what they bring, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. And is that likely to help?
Yeah.
Sorry? Yeah.
It's like an unease, a dissatisfaction, like a frustration.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And does that help to make any changes, or does it make it even harder?
I suppose it makes it harder.
And I mean, I would say it's the default of most people all around the world most of the time. If you look at most of what's going on in the world, just even on an individual level, but on a country, government, whatever level, there's so much of the we have to fix everything going on, and it just causes frantic responses. So we all kind of can get caught up in it. So can you just welcome that whole sensation, the feeling of it, the getting caught in that thinking patterns?
Yes.
Yeah. And if you didn't have that, what would you have?
If I didn't have all this stuff swirling around, guess I would be more calm and quiet.
So can you allow yourself to notice that calm and quiet that is already here?
Yes.
Yeah, good. And then can you welcome any remaining swirling thoughts, feelings, sensations?
Yes.
And then can you welcome the calm and quiet?
Yes.
And can you welcome the swirling, the energy of that?
Yes.
And then can you welcome the quiet, the calm?
Yes.
And can you welcome again any urge to get caught up in the swirling, the sensations?
Yes.
And then can you welcome the calm?
Yes.
And can you welcome any sense that the swirling thoughts, the anxiety, the sensations are personal, that they are you? Any identifying with them? This is me.
Yes. Yes.
And are you that? Or are you that? Or are you aware of it?
I guess I'm aware of it, but it still feels like me too.
Yes, it can feel very, very personal. And that's why we kind of come back to it a lot of the time. So can you just notice how it feels a bit like that's me?
Yes.
And can it be okay for that feeling to be there, of this feels a bit like me?
It's scary, yeah, but it's scary.
And then could you open to the possibility that that might not be you? That it might just be a bunch of sensations and thoughts. You don't have to believe it, but just open to it as a possibility.
Yes.
Yeah. And then can you also welcome the quiet and the calm?
Yes.
And can you welcome any resistance to that might be there?
Yeah. It doesn't feel safe. Like, it doesn't feel like it does feel like being pessimistic protects.
And what if it's not even about being pessimistic or optimistic, but just actually being here right now in this moment? Can you see the difference? Yeah.
I suppose. Sometimes I don't know what's in the moment either.
Okay.
People seem to know what's I'm like, I don't even know. Maybe something is going on and I'm not aware. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that mind says as well, to try and get us back into the stories and the anxiety. And that's fine as well. It's
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad you see that. Wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, that felt better right there when you said that. Oh, okay.
Good. It's just the mind and can you just give the mind some love?
Yeah. I'm just getting really irritated with it, just that moment, becoming very disapproving. Which puts you right back in the same situation.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. That's just the whole loop that we get caught in. It's beautiful that you're seeing that. I'm so pleased you saw that. Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
All right. I'm giving my mind some approval, some love.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
I love you. Shut the fuck up. Okay. How's that now? That's a lot better. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Oh, we kind of almost have done a self-compassion workshop, even though at some point I'm going to do one.
Well, I was just going to say, if there were a theme to this call, I would have to say it would be self-compassion. Thank you so much. That was absolutely delicious.
Yeah. Well, I just honestly feel that whenever we see ourselves getting caught in the, I've got to change me, I've got to fix me, I've got to make me different, that when we can just see that and just give it some love and just let that ease then.
Oh, so you only mean every single waking moment of the day?
Oh, well, mostly. Yeah. It's just such a universal thing that we do.
Oh, of course you're confused. It's only me. I'm the only one that experiences these things.
I think we've definitely seen that's not the case. Thank you, Stephen.
Well, thank
for
you.
inviting me.
What, Yvonne? Would anybody like to unmute? We're going to end the call. You can say goodbye. You can have a word. You can thank Yvonne.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the release and thank you for everything.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Yvonne.
much.
Very much.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Stephen, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice
Thank you.
weekend.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.